Hi, my name is Alfred Moliere. I'm speaking to you all today to prove to you that being a vegetarian is a better ethical choice than meat eating. This is true for several reasons. Let's begin to examine the word ethical on a philosophical note. Two major approaches to interpreting morality are utilitarianism, which defines an action as morally permissible if it causes the greatest amount of happiness or the least amount of pain and suffering as possible, and Kantianism, which states that an action is morally permissible so long as one can will it to become a universal law, while at the same time never treating a human being as merely just a means to an end. Despite their differing views, members of both schools would agree with the statement that being a vegetarian is a better ethical choice than meat eating. Utilitarians would accept this because choosing to be a vegetarian causes significantly less pain and suffering in the world than choosing to eat meat, seeing as how, from the point of view of a cow or a chicken, being slaughtered and eaten is a lot more painful than not being slaughtered or eaten. Before I begin to explain why Kantians would agree with the resolution, I'll explain why choosing to be a vegetarian is a better ethical choice than meat eating for environmental reasons. In order to supply the world with a substantial amount of meat for consumption, vast amount of livestock are required. As living creatures, cows, chickens, pigs, and all other livestock eat, drink, sleep, and obviously defecate. According to the Inventory of Greenhouse Gas Emissions and Sinks from 1990 to 2012, the manure of livestock accounts for 9% of all methane emissions in the United States alone. Methane is a dangerous greenhouse gas that has been proven to contribute to the serious problem of global warming that we are currently experiencing today. Moreover, I believe that it is generally accepted as unethical to willingly contribute to a problem such as global warming that could potentially lead to the downfall of society as we know it. This then brings us back to our previous argument that Kantians would also affirm the resolution, because if everybody in the world decided to eat meat, the number of livestock would increase at an unnerving rate, causing methane levels in the atmosphere to skyrocket, thus risking the devastation of our entire environment. This could not be a universal law, and thus it would be unacceptable for a Kantian to find meat eating to be a better or equally ethical choice as vegetarianism. This is also true since choosing to be a vegetarian would drastically reduce the need for livestock. Thus, the methane levels caused by their manure would also drastically be reduced, thereby helping to solve the problem of global warming. Furthermore, being a vegetarian is a better ethical choice than meat eating, for the act of meat eating supports the cruel treatment of animals and other human beings alike. In a 2002 documentary done by PETA of large factory farms and slaughterhouses, deplorable and sadistic methods of raising and killing farm animals were discovered. For example, chicken coops are often so tight and cramped that farm workers cut off the beaks of chickens so that they cannot peck each other, thus damaging the farm's merchandise. Furthermore, it is considered common practice to brand and castrate young male cows without any form of pain suppressant administered. Also, baby pigs that are deemed to be sick or otherwise unsellable and therefore useless to the farms are killed by having their heads smashed against a concrete floor. These are only a few of the disgusting ways in which factory farm animals are mistreated, and yet the horror of factory farms and large slaughterhouses still continues. As bad as merely hearing of these atrocities is, there are people who are forced to work in these factories and carry out these injustices every day. Factory farms employ people from low economic backgrounds and with little education, and pay them meager salaries to do work that could very easily lead to psychological damage. Therefore, by choosing to eat meat, one is thus supporting the companies that treat their employees as just a means to economic wealth, something that a Kantian would have no choice but to deem morally impermissible. I thank you for your time and your consideration of this serious matter and hope that my arguments have been enough to open your eyes to something that should now be obvious, that being a vegetarian is a better ethical choice than meat eating. Again, thank you for your time.